Welcome everybody. In today's video we're going to cover how to do a raised garden bed. We're going to use this plastic barrel, and I had some cedar posts left over from the cedar bridge we built down here in the yard. And if you haven't seen that, it's on our website here. You can go and look. We had several videos in that series on how to build a log bridge for your property, and it turned out nice. These are the tops out of the trees, parts that we couldn't use, a little bit smaller diameter. What we're going to do is cut this barrel in half, place it inside this frame, and we will have a series of these laid out for our garden this year. It should make it a little bit easier to weed, different things like that, because it's going to be raised. You know, don't have to bend over, that's always a good thing, but also help keep the animals and things like that out of it, or at least most of them. So let's get on with the video. I'll show you how I did this frame first, and then we're going to saw this barrel in half and finish this one up. And I hope you guys enjoy it. This is fun. It was a great project. Now, if you don't want to use rough material like this, it is a little bit harder to work with, simply because nothing is square or flat. But if you take your time, you can see we are 29 inches on the bottom, and our legs are 42 inches long, and I did cut these at a 45, as well as flattened off our foot down here in order for these 45-degree angles to bolt on a little easier. We are 28 inches wide for your overall width, and that pretty well covers it. I did notch in right here, and again, these are 45-degree angles. Notch these in so the logs would fit a little tighter, and then when we place our barrel, we are going to actually pin it with some screws and washers, and that will help sturdy this thing up, and then we can put it any place we want to in the yard. Now, if you're going to build this out of 2x4s, what you're going to need is two 10-foot 2x4s, and you will need one 8-foot 2x4 for your two cross braces here in the center. Okay? And then again, on that I would actually turn the 2x4 for my foot flat. And again, 45-degree angle. These are 29 inches, and the dimensions will be the same. So, and then 42 inches on our legs here. And then in the center, you will have to notch in and put you some screws in that in order to hold it up to make your X-brace, okay? And then, like I said, by the time you get your barrel on here and get some screws placed in that, it's going to sturdy the frame up, make this real nice. I do like the rustic look of the cedar logs. We have enough to do probably 2 or 3 more of these like this. So we will continue that process, and then we will move on to the 2x4 framing after we're done using what we have in cedar. Let's take a look at the barrel and see what we need to do to split that thing and get it up here on this frame. Alright, first off, we picked this plastic barrel up from a local supplier. We got this for 12 bucks. But if you don't have somebody in your neighborhood that sells plastic barrels, Rural King does sell them. They're a little bit higher, but you can find these things pretty easy. Now secondly, when we start to cut this out, and I bet you almost all these barrels are made probably the same way, but there is actually a center line that is molded into the plastic. So center is really easy to find on these in order to draw it out so you know where to cut it. And if not, you can get yourself a square and just simply measure it out and then mark it off accordingly. Now these barrels, they are made for various chemicals. So they are made extremely durable, and UV light, sunlight, won't hurt these things. Typical plastic, if you set it out there, I mean, it probably deteriorate in 2 or 3 years. This guy's going to hold up. Even if you get a bunch of freezing water inside this thing, it's probably going to take it. These things are durable. Let's see if we can get it marked off. Naturally, I've got it spun right around here where I can't see it in this light. There's my center line. like I said, it's actually right there on the side of it. And I am going to trace that out. That way when I get the saw running, I'll be able to see it a little easier. If you're not familiar with what was in the barrel, then you may wash it out before you start trying to saw on this thing. Now, not all of these lids are made the same, but I am simply using a crescent wrench and stick it right down inside that plastic cap, and I opened it up. That way when it catches, you can just bend them off to the side. Okay, so that's a pretty easy way to get these caps out of there. And like I said, these could be useful for something else, so I'll hang on to them at least for a little bit. Yeah, that's going to cut right through that, guys. And lay this down on the side so you can see that a little easier. Like I said, this thing's ripping right through there, which is a good thing. Now, we'll set it back up and we'll start the other side down. I tell you, that gets through there so easy, you have to be careful, they get away from you. That thing is chewing right through there. Now, we got that half. I think we've got it. Get this water cleaned up out of the floor. There we go, guys. Oh, that's going to make a nice flower bed. Like I said, this plastic's probably, I'd say at least 1/8 of an inch, maybe even 3/16 of an inch thick. So that's definitely going to be durable. I like it. And one thing to mention, I built this thing heavy because once these things get filled with dirt and water, they're going to be heavy. So you guys do it however you choose to. Splitting this barrel turned out real nice. And our idea is we want to keep these guys up nice and about waist high or a little higher, and keep all the gardening up here. I think that's going to work great, guys. Let's get some fasteners in it. I'll get it all squared up and level. Yeah, it looks great. Now the fasteners that I'm going to put in here, I'm going to use a 2-inch screw with a washer on it, and that will help give strength to our frame here, and it'll have to pull against all of this. This plastic will hold quite a bit. All right, let me get it wiped off. Well, I'll tell you, that cedar is tough wood too. What a great project. I'll tell you, I don't know exactly what Jill has in mind as far as planting in here, but she's definitely not going to have to bend over to get that job done. That worked out real good. I like the height on it. Like I said, this plastic's tough too. It has rained outside all day, and I tell you what a great project to be inside working on. So get around here where I can get to this thing. I'm going to put some drain holes in this. I'm going to use a 1/2-inch paddle bit. I did leave my frame a little taller on one end in order to get the water to run down. However, when it settles from the weight and things like that, it's probably going to level up. So I am going to put probably about 6 holes in here. Keep these guys kind of close down here at the bottom. Well, I'll tell you, this plastic barrel is fun to work with. It's easy to work with, and it's still rigid enough that you can do something with it. I'm also going to take and cut all these loose edges off the edges of the barrel where we made our saws all cut. I'll get all that stuff cleaned up. This turned out to be a nice spot to hang your garden hose or whatever too. So guys, I'll tell you what, that's gonna be nice. It did make our frame a lot more rigid. So now again, this thing's gonna get heavy when we get all the dirt and the plants in here as well as water. So whatever frame you decide to build it sturdy enough where it'll hold this stuff up. Now one thing I will add, if you don't want it suspended being this tall in the air, what you can do is just simply cut you a leg and mount this plastic right down to it. You can put these things on concrete blocks. You can get them right down on the ground. You can actually dig the ground out and just set this barrel in there. You have many options with this plastic, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a winner for the garden as well as the flower beds. So I'm definitely going to be doing some future projects with this stuff. I enjoyed working with this. A simple project, a durable project, and simple tools as well. There's not a whole lot involved here. So I hope you guys liked the video, and if so, hit the like button for us. And if you enjoyed it and you're new to the channel, subscribe. We have various videos that you guys can see, from home improvement to playing with the grandkids. You're probably going to find something you like. Okay? Thanks for joining us. I'll see you on the next one. It's hard telling us what we're building.